This horse up the top there, if that doesn't win next start, I'll give it up. I haven't seen what race it's going to be in, but I know what races it'll qualify to be in. Race at the Gold Coast on Saturday, and quite frankly, I've never seen a horse handle a wet track worse. If you get a chance to go back and look at the video, guys, do so. Yet they still couldn't get near it, and it got beaten at the end, but geez, they had to do everything to get it, and it was dead set throwing its legs all over the joint. It didn't want to be there, so I'd suggest to you possibly that run might have taken a little bit of an edge off it. I'd like to see it reappear in about 3 weeks, not next week, and it will appear in a class 1 or class 2. Great attributes, great ability. It'll be winning. It will be winning. Doesn't mean you go and have a silly bet on it though. Just keep everything in perspective. Rabuka, you all know Rabuka, backed off the map last start really heavily. Lovely horse with Gay. Look, they took it on. It and can't remember. Lost my memory. But anyway, it raced. The two of them murdered each other basically, and
Wasn't Hadar?
dropped out and ran.
No.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. They just murdered each other, and you know, for those of you that aren't right into it and watching 15 hours of video like I do a day, you would have looked and thought, well, geez, this guy doesn't really know what he's talking about. But it's ready, it's going well, it's got all the attributes. You just want to see it on top of the ground first of all. Generally, it's a horse that in its preparations it's not very resilient, so don't get hooked up on it. It'll produce a couple of good runs in the next 2, and then it has had a tendency to sort of lighten off pretty quickly, and they have to turn it out and get some more condition on it. So I like the horse. Dual Code, no need to ramble on about it. It'll be winning. Rock Kingdom, write that down and just keep that in your head, because that horse is special. Certainly it's special this year, but it's going to be even more special if it does race in spring or next year. But very hard to beat in any race. It's been up north, and it's been performing well down here. No one will believe me when I put Big El Hasm on the screen, but the reason it's there is I've identified it 2 runs ago, or a run and a half ago. If that makes sense. With all this rain around, if you ever see Big El Hasm, it's really fit now. I saw it the other day, and performs at this stage of its preparation. Always has. It's just getting up to the right distance. If it rains, doesn't need to rain, but if it does, fantastic. Marquardt, owned by Tinkler, not nominated for the slipper. I broke a rule and have actually backed it in the slipper. Probably I'll trade out of it. I've grabbed a couple of guys. I've recently, a couple of new members that have been speaking with me. I think we took $17. I'd probably jump out of it at 10 or something. Not because I don't think it can win the slipper. It just comes across as a sort of filly that will be better off over more ground. Now, we were all on it last start, and you all know what happened at the 550. It copped a check and lost lengths and was coming beautifully. So don't drop off it. Lovely horse. I think even lovelier when it gets to 1400. But I'm not to say you can't win the slipper. I just don't like making statements about 2-year-olds that make you look a bit foolish. Madame Padrille, well, how good was that? You know, that was pretty exceptional what it did at Wyong as a maiden. It came out and won again for us after that, and it's come out and won again for us after that. It's a horse going places within reason. It's it's certainly going to be a stakes performer. Whether it gets to group level remains to be seen. Last of all, Saddlebari. Now, this is a lovely horse, Mick Kent's horse, and it was scratched the other day. I think it was in at Mini Valley last Friday night. It was scratched. I've been hanging for this horse to come back around. You know, the only thing I could say negatively about the horse is that it isn't experienced. It's had a couple of runs where it's had a pretty easy up around the lead, not necessarily leading all the way, but when it's been in a position around the lead, it hasn't had a lot of pressure placed on it. So I'm just hoping that when it does get in a race, that it doesn't get too much pressure on it. It's special, it's good, it's a horse of the future, and it's going really well. That's about all there. Can I just take a few questions, Dave. We've a couple of that relate to maybe just that, nothing else, and then I'll get the rest of the questions at the end so that those that have been here before can get away.
Yep. We've had a bit of feedback not to worry about rushing through, that everyone is getting a fair bit from the presentation. Alan's asked, how many horses would you have on the Black Book list at any one time?
There's 104 now, so there's going to be, I haven't added many this week because I do adjusted time, so it's no problem doing my sectionals on wet tracks, but I just don't trust the form necessarily. Well, not to identify one anyway. I trust the form, but so there's around 100 going at any one time. Well, it's at the moment anyway. Remains to be seen. I'm not in a hurry to get them on there. They're only going on there if they're doing special things.
Okay.
So it's not like we're just going to throw something on there and say, well, great, here's another 4 for you. Not interested. They've got to be good and they've got to be winners.
Yep. Gavin was happy that there was a chopping block and that you're not just following them after one good run. He said that anyone can have their own Black Book stable, but he appreciates the fact that you get rid of them if you don't think they're going to be profitable for us going forward.
Yeah, and remember too, Gavin, this is not like just Black Book. Let's watch a video and watch some backmarker come flying down the outside. There is a fair amount of criteria. If you are a new member, I don't know if you are, but if you are, perhaps go and look at the previous webinar on criteria. There's a fair bit there.
Yep, and just one other thing about the webinars is in about a month or so we will have a revamped and much improved website, and part of that will be a dedicated webinars page. I get a lot of requests for the replays, both the people that have attended and mightn't have the chance to jot stuff down, but also people that miss out. So we'll have a webinar page there where you can check out the replays. James has asked if you have as many Black Bookers running around over winter.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. It's just a matter of doing a lot of hard work. To find one horse to go on there, it probably takes me 45 minutes because I've got to watch a race. If I see something good, then I've got to go back and do the sectionals. Then I've got to watch the horses that raced around it and see how it performed relative to those, etc. So nothing changes at winter time, nothing at all. In fact, there's a lot of money to be made at winter. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the answer.
Roger's asked a question he thinks has been asked many times, but why do you give out this info instead of just keeping it to yourself and betting more?
Well, good question, but I've been doing this for a long time. I make a lot of money. I'm a pretty passionate sort of guy. There's a few people that have contacted me from Champion Picks. I haven't met them personally, but I've spoken to them on the phone. In fact, there's a guy coming on tonight who I've been helping out lately. I'm not happy to continue to give it away if there's too many people. I'll make that clear because I'm just getting a bit jack of seeing my prices going. I'm probably different to most guys that provide tips and ratings and stuff in that I actually bet on mine for a living, whereas most of the others I'd say would avoid. I hope they're avoiding their own anyway. So we break shortly, but I give them away for lots of reasons. There's a lot of cost that goes into. I've got to employ staff to do stuff for me. I've got to buy stuff. I spend a lot of money like getting not sectionals but adjusted times and all that sort of thing. Time, and I want to be reimbursed for it. And as I said, there will come a time when I'll just say no more because I'm more of a punter than a producer, but I am also real passionate and I quite enjoy. I guess it's a bit like, this is a bad analogy, but for people that have kids, they rather, they like watching their kids succeed. I like watching a few other guys succeed. If I can basically help a few people out, I'm happy. And when you see the new website we're just about to launch, you'll understand where I'm coming from. A lot of things are going to change in respect of